Friday, July 17, 2026. The United States military struck 6 bridges in Iran's Hormozgan province and hit power infrastructure in the 7th consecutive night of strikes. Central Command said the attacks targeted air defense sites and military logistics infrastructure. Iranian state media reported at least 7 people killed and 20 wounded in the latest round alone. Over the past week, Iranian health officials say 38 people have been killed and more than 400 wounded. Iran expanded its retaliatory attacks, claiming strikes against U.S. military forces in Syria for the first time, in addition to targets in Bahrain. Jordan's air defenses intercepted 10 Iranian missiles early Saturday. Kuwait's air defenses also intercepted missiles, while both Bahrain and Saudi Arabia issued warnings for residents to shelter in place. The conflict has now spread to at least 5 countries across the Middle East. A top Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps official warned the United States of a, quote, full-scale offensive if American strikes continue. The military advisor said, quote, if U.S. attacks continue for another 2 or 3 days, we will enter a phase of full-scale offensive operations. Neither side has publicly signaled any willingness to return to negotiations since the interim ceasefire collapsed on July 8. President Trump delivered his highly anticipated primetime address to the nation last night from the White House East Room. Trump claimed to declassify documents that he said revealed, quote, shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. He accused China of running an influence campaign and alleged a cover-up by U.S. intelligence officials. Experts said the documents largely discussed previously known potential vulnerabilities and provided no evidence that any election was actually stolen.
Good evening. Before we begin, I'm proud to report that our country is safer, stronger, and far wealthier than it has ever been before. We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster.
Trump used the speech to push for the Save America Act, which would require proof of citizenship to register to vote in a form of ID at the ballot box. He called for broadcasters who did not air his speech to lose their licenses, and he called California, quote, worse than any third world country. All 24 Democratic governors released a joint statement accusing the president of attempting to, quote, intimidate and silence voters.
Billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to trumpaccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible.
CNN was among the networks that chose not to air the speech on television. An early review of the declassified documents found they largely contained information from a 2021 assessment by the intelligence community about potential election system vulnerabilities, none of which constituted evidence of actual fraud. The speech lasted approximately 25 minutes and drew immediate criticism from election security experts and Democratic lawmakers. That is your Trump brief for Friday, July 17th. 7 nights of strikes, Iran threatens a full-scale offensive, and Trump's election speech divides the nation. Subscribe to the Trump Brief USA for the latest every day. See you tomorrow.